Not your average tabletop. Woohoo!
Welcome to Not Trevor's Tabletop. I'm Zach,
And I'm Pepper.
and today we are getting an update of how my training for the World Series of Board Gaming is going. I've had one video prior to this where I just kind of said that I think it was like 200 days out and kind of showed the games I was going to be playing and kind of the other options of games. So you can go back and check that one out if you want. And this will be a continued series, so you can subscribe if you want to see future ones. I think for these first few months, it'll just be kind of a monthly update kind of thing. Possibly be willing to do more content on these if that's what you guys want. Let me know in the comments below. Also, I'd love hints and tips from anyone for any of these games as well. If you've played them a lot, I'd love to hear them. But yeah, 170 days out, we are going to be looking at some stats on the games. Not only these four, which are the four that I am currently choosing to play. I believe there's an option up to a certain point in time where I could switch. There's like four games played each day. You can go back to the other video to kind of see what those are. Um, but these are the current ones that I've chosen, and we're gonna kind of give my win-loss record, high-low score, uh, and my average. What was all in
Yeah.
there, Pepper?
Yes, your average score for each. And we'll go through, you will be able to see all the games that are available to play. We have them all here, but most of them will have zero plays, and we'll just skip on right by them. But yeah, this will be taking place in September. I think September 19th, I think is day one, technically.
Oh, yep.
Friday it will be, and these are the four games that are available to play, which I was questioning because I saw three classic games that you absolutely love in Azul, Terraforming Mars, and Brass Birmingham, but you chose White Castle, which is just still crazy to me.
I
Uh,
can see myself changing, and we
yeah,
can maybe see. I believe you got all my board game arena plays, which I will say most of my plays so far have been on there. I don't have a ton of plays. We're going back to the full year at this point. I did not do like any stats in my original video. And now from now on, it'll just be looking at the month and then kind of comparing it to future months and the future videos.
yes.
But yeah, I there's maybe one here that I might be willing to change this to.
Okay, but starting with the one you picked, the White Castle, you have zero plays of this game so far, 3 months in to the.
Yeah, and that's not good because it was actually I don't remember if it was before the year started, kind of late last year or early this year, but it did get added to Board Game Arena, so I thought maybe I'd get some more plays of it in. And this is one that I've actually had sitting. So I've got games to play over on the table over there, uh, and that is one of them. And this is one Michaela likes, so I'm surprised I have not gotten this one to the table physically yet this year. But I do have plans with the in-laws and Mac on Board Game Arena to play some four-player games of this and Castle of Burgundy, which we'll look at later on Board Game Arena. So I'll get some four-player games of it in, and yeah, just to I guess mention that right up front. Most of the games I've played so far have been at two players, so only a couple have been at four, and I think most of these will probably end up being like three or four-player games.
Yeah.
So some of these games do play differently in that player count. I've never played the White Castle at four, so that might be something. We'll see how that ends up playing in my first four-player game of it.
Yes, we will see. Another game here was Brass Birmingham. You also have not played that one at all this year, and very few times over in our total career.
Yeah, I think this one's probably my least likely to pick. I don't think I would switch to this one. This would be the last I would switch to, just because we don't get it to the table that much. But I'm hoping that maybe I can get this one played a few times, just in case I somehow miraculously got a ring at one of the ones I did pick. I don't know how likely that is, but just in case, probably need to be a little more familiar with it, and maybe can get. I think I've played this one at three, but I don't think I've ever played this at four. So maybe get a game or two of it in at four players would be good as well to kind of see how differently it plays at that player count.
Yeah, true. You do kind of want to play all the games a little bit because if you do make it through the first round of the tournament, you might be playing a game that you are not prepared for. So
Right. And this one is not on Board Game Arena, so that's the other unfortunate thing with this one.
Yes. And then next up, you have Terraforming Mars, which you actually have one play of.
I'm surprised. I feel like I have played this on Board Game Arena, but yeah, when I looked, I did not. Yeah, usually I'll maybe get a play of it in. I feel like this year I've not gotten many plays in on Board Game Arena in general, so I got to get back into that. But yeah, this surprisingly wasn't even a play on Board Game Arena. This was an in-person play, two-player game of it, and I did win. So I am 100% uh, in the win category on Terraforming Mars. And the one other time I did go to the World Series of Board Gaming, this was one of the two games that I played, and I did not make it out of the first round, but I did play against the champion, who ended up being the champion, has now been the champion 3 times in a row. So I will say I have been in a championship style match in this one before, an environment, even though I think I think he like doubled all the other three scores, so it was not close.
Yeah, and I not too likely to pick this one, I assume, just because it seems like there is that crazy next level that some players seem to get to.
Yeah, that's what I'm kind of thinking at this point. If I did, I think I'd have to decide soon, and then maybe I could work with my in-law Zachary, who has he's probably played like I don't know 20, 30, 40 plays of this year because I know he enters in like the tournaments on Board Game Arena. So he's probably gotten some more experience with it. And I was kind of in my head, I'm thinking maybe he should go to the World Series of Board Gaming just to try it out. I mean, there are probably those high level players, but I would think, I mean, probably a good chunk of them are not.
Yeah,
Like they're maybe average, but not necessarily like, oh, I've never played this game before. But
yeah,
people that have played a decent amount, but may not be that next level. So I could see him having a chance.
yeah. And then the last game in this set, Azul.
Yeah, and this is the one that I think I would switch it to if I did switch. I think all of these were on Board Game Arena at two players specifically. So I've got a 50-50 win-loss ratio, 3-3. And yeah, average score of 57.5. I'm not sure how much that changes in different player counts, if that's because you do put more tiles in, so I don't know
But you
if
end
that
up
would change
getting
your
the
score
same,
significantly.
about the same, I would think.
Yeah,
Not sure.
probably.
Yeah.
And it depends how quickly the game ends. But yeah, I think kind of like a Terraforming Mars, I think there are those that level of player above maybe the rest. And two player, I think, plays a lot differently in one way, and that is so I'll maybe say the tip for this one that I've, or maybe come up with. Tell me if I'm totally wrong. If you've played a ton of Azul and you're like, nope, that does not make sense. But in a two-player game, I think you can be more willing to not like immediately go after the first player token for the next round. But in a four-player game of it, if you have a chance to take the first player token, you probably should take it. Otherwise, you'll potentially or likely be going fourth the next round.
Oh, yeah.
Because I think it's a very important piece, at least from when I watched. I think they had a championship match of this on their YouTube channel, and that's how everyone was like taking it immediately. So, uh, yeah, I think that's one of those things that maybe plays a little bit different. So these are all two-player games that I played, so I wasn't like as into that. But let me know in the comments below if you think it is still that important, or maybe it's not really that important at all.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That is a good thought. I've never thought about that, but uh, obviously they probably know a little bit more. But I feel like it'd be a little easier to get to that level in Azul versus Terraforming Mars. It's just a much
That's true.
simpler game. It's just like play this way instead of that way, where Terraforming Mars, there's so many different layers and complexities to all these cards and how they work together. I
That's true.
think this is the one that I would choose if I were to pick one here. But that's an easy one for me. Ooh.
Okay, then we got that next state. Did I pick right here, Pepper?
I think you picked right here. Cascadia is the one that I would choose as well. Although, if I had played Raw a little more, I could see picking that one.
And that's kind of what I was thinking. It's just not one Unfortunately, I get to the table that much. I think it's like mid for Michaela. I don't think Abby liked it, even though she likes like the Egyptian kind of theme. Um, and yeah, I think this one's better at a higher player count. Yeah, get as many of those games played, but and then the other two, I think there's higher levels of play. I have not played them enough, but I'm not. I think these are the four that I'm maybe the least like afraid of in general.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
because I have played a decent amount of Dune Imperium Uprising, and a lot of them have actually been four-player games of it, which is surprising. Or Dune Imperium, I should say, Dune
Yeah.
Imperium slash Dune Imperium Uprising. Most of them have been Dune Imperium. But a lot of four-player games of it, whereas I think the other ones I don't have a ton of four-player games.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, going into one of your more successful games, Cascadia, you're actually undefeated in this year.
And those are all games, I believe, against Mac. I think they were all pretty close games. That's at least for us, scores seem to be kind of really close all the time. I don't know. Maybe occasionally someone will be a little bit of an outlier win, but right between that 90 and 100 point range, I think is what I tend to get in the games. I think it kind of depends too on the cards that come out, but yeah, this is a game that I think Pepper and I both agreed that we initially were like, oh, what's all this hype about and whatever, and then we ended up playing and we're like, oh yeah, this is a pretty good game. And yeah, I don't know. I'm still trying to decide if any of you have played a lot of Cascadia. Is it better to get? I was trying to play like some games like two-handed by myself and like taking one player and trying to do like just 100% focus on like habitats and then just get the animals where they lie kind of thing. Still trying to get points, obviously, that way. And then the other player just trying to do animals. And then just the way the tiles and animals came out, that just didn't work. So I don't know. Maybe that's not even a strategy you can try to do, but I thought the scores were actually still pretty close. So I don't know if one thing is better than the other or you're just trying to maximize it all, probably. Uh, but is it better to take like the tiles with multiple pieces if you can get two habitats together? That's the one thing I'm not sure. If you can always be adding I feel like I almost always take those if I can. If I
Yeah,
have
because
one
then
that
you're
will add to two, maybe not immediately, but I might need another tile to connect it. But
then it's like a two, it counts twice then, pretty much for scoring, which is uh pretty important, especially for counting majorities, which gives you an additional bonus. Um, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the strategy. I would be interested. I might have to try two-handed and try what you were talking about, going all in on animals, all in on habitats. Um, it might be interesting to find the right balance there. I'm sure there is one perfect balance. You need to get this much percentage of points from this much from that. That's
it
above
makes
my
me
head.
think of Obsession, where it's got the that in there this book thing and it has percentages of things. It just makes me laugh every time.
85% of your points should come from those little keystone tokens or whatever it's called. Or something. And then you go on to Earth, and that was another one you have not played yet this year.
That one, that one, I don't know. I just got to play this on Board Game Arena. Maybe I could play this one. Maybe this could be another one I add to that list of games to play with them to get some four-player games of it in. Otherwise, I'm gonna have to play with Pepper. I know this one is a game you really like, so
I do.
I don't know if
I do.
Michaela's played it. Might have to teach her.
Yeah.
So
And then Raw as well. Like you said, just don't get it played.
yeah, that's the toughest part about Raw, but overall, it's a pretty simple game. So I feel like I just if I could somehow manage, 6 plays of this over the next 6 months, I think I would be happy because I don't know that there's like all that much. It's a little bit of luck of the draw as to what's
Yeah.
coming out at what times.
Which could help you. That evens the
Exactly.
playing field with the pros.
That's true.
That's my strategy. And then lastly, Dune, Imperium, Uprising. You got one play so far.
did, and I ended up losing this one, so big L on this one. I did score 9 points, so I think the winning score was 11 though. So it's not like I was just 1 point off. I think they got an extra bonus point. But yeah, this is the first time I'd actually played the Uprising version of it, and there were a few changes. So I'm thinking I'm probably gonna have to hopefully get this one. I think this one's an easier one to get to the table because uh, my brother and sister-in-law both really like the game, and I think Michaela likes it a good amount as well. So this is one that's a little bit easier than some of the other ones at 4 players, just because we haven't played the other ones as much. So I think we'll be able to get this one played a few more times, hopefully.
Yeah.
But I think there is that extra level on this one as well, and I don't know. Maybe. I'm
Yeah.
not like terrible at the game, but I don't know.
I don't know why you assume that you aren't at that level. I mean, you might be. You just don't know. You've never gone
That's
into
true.
the main event
It's so
of this
hard when
tournament.
you mainly play with the same people over and over because it's like, well, I don't probably like, 30, 40, maybe on a good day, 50% win rate on this one. But I mean, the scores are always really close. But then, yeah, I don't know if our group is good at playing the game or we all kind of play it at about the same level. And so, like, if we had someone that, one of the champions of this one, if we had them playing a game, like, would they just wipe the floor with us? I don't know, maybe.
Probably.
But it
But
would be
oh,
interesting to watch. I mean, maybe I know they have. Well, I don't think they have the Uprising one, so I wouldn't be able to learn the exact strats. But I suppose I could go back and watch the video of this and see if it's like, oh yeah, I would have done that, I would have done that, or see if they're playing like wildly differently than how we play. I don't know.
yeah, yeah. Just master it. Be taskmaster. Just watch them, copy them.
And this is the unfortunate day. You go back, listen to my previous one. This one is probably where I talked about how I cannot believe Castle Burgundy and Wingspan are on the same day. It just makes me sick. Because Wingspan was the other one that I had played in the previous time that I went there. And then Pepper knows. I think I know what Pepper might pick on this one. I mean, I think he's definitely better than me at the game. I think he would pick. I think he's at least opened up to another option outside of me. I don't think either of us would pick Lost Ruins of Arnak, even though I don't know that I've lost that game ever. I haven't played it a ton. I just, I don't know, because I haven't played it a ton. I feel like there's more there. Just because the games I've won, I know that there's like that card row on top, and I never really did a bunch of stuff with that. So I'm like, I feel like there's ways you could utilize that in a really good way, and I have not had to go to that level.
Yeah.
But yeah, and Heat is I don't know, my kryptonite game. I don't think I've ever won Heat, so I would never pick that. But currently, I end up having the Castles of Burgundy selected. Um, I think this one might be, is it my most played, Pepper? I don't remember.
I think, well, let's see. Let's see what you got here. You have 11 games of this, and I believe that is your most played game. Probably of the year on here for all of these games. Maybe one of your most played of the year, period. And you probably are playing, I guess, some of your games in person. Would not be this version. This is the picture that they have up for the game. I don't know if there's any differences in Castles of Burgundy's versions
I
or
don't
little
think
adjustment.
so.
So it should be the same game throughout, but yeah, 11 games, just significantly more than everything else, which I mean might be the best way to go, just like really specialize in one game versus move a little progress on a bunch, because I don't know if that would be enough to really dominate with any of them, but you're setting yourself up to wipe the floor with these goons at Castles of Burgundy.
Yes, because I definitely I increased my win percentage quite a bit from January to March there. I did not have a great month of January, 2-6. Oh boy. And one of those was in person, 4 player game that I did win. So I went 1-6 and 2 player games on Board Game Arena, I'm assuming. And then 3-0. And yeah, I think at least at 2 players, it seems like if you can get over that 200 point threshold, you're gonna have a good chance of winning. Um, but yeah, I think in this one of the tips or things I think you need to do if you can are get the yellow point scoring things for different sold goods and number of goods sold. I think those
Okay.
are usually very good scoring ones. Because if you can sell like five of them or even all six, I think that's 18 points plus if you can get the other one, however many you ended up selling. So that could be really good. Otherwise, I don't know. I think I've had some games where the winner has not gone for like the mines, and in other games they have boats versus not boats. But obviously, that's a lot different than a four-player game of it. So
Yeah.
let me know in the comments below what you think in a four-player game is the most important thing to go for.
Yeah, that's true. That's interesting. You got some very specific things that you're thinking about possibly being the key to success.
Yes,
Yeah.
a lot more than the other one so far.
Yeah, I like Castle of Burgundy. I just think that I don't have nearly enough experience if I were going to feel comfortable picking that one. This is the one that I do seem to dominate you at almost every time. I would be tempted to try Heat, but I don't think I would pull the trigger on it just because I'm like, okay, I haven't. It's not one of my core games to my gaming career just yet. It's been a very popular, very hot one over the years, but I think I would pick a different one, and it would not be Lost Ruins of Arnak. I have not played that maybe two, three times ever. I accidentally got into a game of it on Board Game Arena. I was trying to go into some temple, whatever. The one where you're going in, getting gems, flipping cards, pushing your luck,
Oh,
whatever
like
that one's
Diamond
called.
or something.
Yeah, yeah. I was trying to get into that one. It had a similar cover to Lost Ruins of Arnak, so I just clicked play. And I got into Lost Ruins of Arnak, and I'm like, oh no, I've only played this once. I have no clue what I'm doing. I'm not gonna quit the game on this guy, so I had to make do that time. But that's the same feeling I would have going to Vegas. Um, but I would probably choose Wingspan. It is my most successful game in the World Series of Board Gaming. I have one win. I made it through the very first game in this one, and then lost. Pretty big. Um, but played it a ton in my career, so that's what I'd go with.
Yeah, this would probably be the other one that I would choose if I switched. I just could not decide what I thought I would have a better chance at overall. Not sure. I really don't know like which one of these two games is more likely to have like veteran players or players that play it a lot. And I just thought Wingspan just might have a little bit more of a potential luck factor depending on what your starting hand is. Like
Yeah,
sometimes you might just get the worst hand and then you're kind of out of luck right off the bat.
yeah, that's
Or you gotta just hope that you get something going right away. I
yeah,
don't know.
that's maybe why I would choose it, just because I'm like, okay, if I just get a few good
That's
hands
true. You can
in a
look at it
row,
the other way.
then you might beat him. You might beat him out. And or Castle of Burgundy, I
That's
just feel
true.
like there's more ways to manage it. So it could help you out if you do think you are a superior player, or could possibly hurt you, or maybe you get a
That's
little
fair.
lucky, but it will work out in the end and you will be beaten, which is my situation for Castle of Burgundy.
That's a good point. That is fair. And it looks like currently I'm a loser on both of these. I was 5-6 on that one, Castle Burgundy, and I'm 3-4 on this one. So I'm currently losing more than I'm winning. So uh, it's not a good sign. That is not a good sign. But both have gotten a little bit better from January to the March, and I did not play any in February. I was taking a stand against playing these ones. Apparently,
Yes, it's
it
a
was because
short.
they were on the same day of World Series of Board Gaming. And take a stand.
Yes, protest. It was a short month. It just flew right by without any games. But yeah,
Sure,
high
my
of
average score went up a little bit.
yeah, high of 108. I mean, if you can get 100 points
I think I'll have a good
consistently,
chance.
you'll have a good chance. Just like whatever 200 for Cobb. And then the last day, the last section here, which my gosh, I wish one of those games could have just been put into this category, and I think you feel the same.
I 100% feel the same. This is a category I'm picking a game I still have not played and acquire. But then it's got Arc Nova, Great Western Trail, and Splendor, and I'm scared of those for all, well, two of the same reason, one of not the same reason. Great Western Trail, I think I had started watching a video on that one from the World Series of Board Gaming, and it just sounded like this expert in it that had one previously. They're like, "Oh, you know, after how many turns if you're out of it," and I'm like, "Well, the couple times I've played it, I have not known that." So I guess I'm not at that level. And I think, yeah, they were someone that had competed and knew some of the other people. So I'm like, I don't think I've got much of a chance there. I'm gonna have to get that one played some more, but no chance. Arc Nova should be a game that I just absolutely love, and it's gone up a little bit for me. We played it a few times last year, but another one that's heavy and has a lot going on. And then Splendor is the total opposite. It's kind of like another Heat to me. Another Kryptonite game I never win. I always want to build up a big engine, and that's just not how this game's played properly, anyway. Because yeah, I think they just try to be as efficient as possible. So I'm taking the raw of the options. I feel like
Yes,
I hope.
I hope so. But yeah, not much here. Not any plays of Acquire. Which how simple of the game is that? I feel like it was simpler than I had initially thought.
I think it's pretty simple. It's like from 1950 or 60 or something. So I think you like get little building tile things, or you get multiple, and you put them out on the board and can like start new businesses or whatever, and then as you add to them, they kind of grow. Or like when you first get it, I think you get like a stock of whatever building you started and can buy some additional shares, and then you can hope that building pieces get added to it and spread out,
Mm.
and then maybe it merges with another one. Um, I think it seems pretty simple. I think the part I'm worried about is the memory part, which is remembering how many shares people have because you want to have majorities when I can't remember when must be when it gets bought out by another one or like a bigger one takes over yours. You want to have the majority, um,
Okay.
kind of thing of
Hmm.
shares. I don't know. I'll have to play it, but I don't think it's that difficult. It's just more the memory aspect of it.
Yeah. So if you go and it gets to September and you have not played this one, are you going to be switching over to, I guess,
I feel like you have to lock in before September,
okay,
but
so
if I get to the point where
the
it has
point.
to be locked in and I have not played it, I guess I would change to Splendor. I don't know.
Okay.
And just hope.
Hopefully you've
Hope and
played one of
pray.
these games at least once by then. Yeah, I think
Yeah,
Splendor
it's
would be the way to go just because you do know it. Uh,
right.
you know Arc Nova, but I feel like Splendor's just, again, simpler to master or just be like, okay, here's the type of strategy I need to do, and maybe you can wing it and figure it out if things
Right.
just line up right for you. So
Yeah.
that's probably the one I would end up going with. I'd probably just opt out of this day. Just get three entries and
He really wishes Heat would have been on this day.
but yeah, so no plays in that entire thing, but let me move on to the end for just an overall of the games you have selected and played. You are 9 and 6 of the ones that you did not select, the other options. You are 7 and 8 for a total of 30 total plays, 16 and 14.
Yeah,
Very
I
good.
mean, could be better, but not bad.
Yeah, you're above water.
For now, till I go and play some tonight and lose like three
Yes.
matches in a row.
Till I play in heat.
Once I get my Heat plays in, that's really going to drag it down. I'm going to have to play something else. I don't know what I even have a good chance of winning it. So, yeah. Well, my fortune cookie said a small discovery will lead to big things. So, what is the small discovery you found while looking at this data, Pepper,
Uh, my
that will lead to
small
big things?
My small discovery. Oh boy, I'm put on the spot here. What is the small discovery here? Let's see. Oh yeah, a small discovery was that you had for one of these games. I have the stats here. What is it? It was Castle of Burgundy. You somehow ended up with 173 twice. I'm like, how did he end up doing that? Azul, you ended up with 63 twice. I'm like, how is he ending up with the same exact scores in these
Wow.
games? It ain't like it's Dune Imperium where you just end up at 9. There's only like
Right.
10 points in the game. I'm like, to end up with the same score on those kinds of games, that might be the key.
That might be the small discovery that I needed to win big. I might have to change to Azul now. That's what I'm hearing.
Oh, yeah, that's a pretty good score. 63.
Yeah. But yeah, let me know in the comments below if you've got any small discoveries from this information here that can maybe lead to some big things. But yeah, we will be putting out another update next month. Hopefully, it'll be more plays than this, but you never know. We'll see. Only got so much time, unfortunately, and been playing a lot of new games actually, which makes it difficult to get to these ones. But I'm gonna make Pepper. Pepper, you're gonna have to commit to playing at least 4 games with me
Oh,
out
I
of
was
this
gonna say
list.
5. I was gonna be okay with 5, but
Oh
oh, I
boy.
can do
Well, it's the
4.
month of April, so 4. And then
There you
in May,
go.
you got to play 5. And then in June, 6. And then July, 7. And August, 8. And September, 9 before we get to the first day. So you only got half a month for that.
Sounds good.
That's good. But yeah, otherwise, we hope to see you on the next one. And as always, don't forget to keep on nibbling on our content.
I have a fortune cookie right over there. I need to open it.
Oh my God.
Oh my goodness. Success will be your constant companion.
Wow.
How fitting that I get that before we're about to play some games.
That is not good for me and my record.